Welcome back to the John Trading channel. I'm John, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over Bitcoin, Ethereum, and altcoins, going over their price action. Plus, there's a lot of crypto news to go through with you today, so make sure you're watching until the end of the video. If you've been following my channel for a while, you would know that I like to look at the weekly time frame as just my first reference every single day, even if it's only just for 30 seconds. Bitcoin traveling upwards using this 20 exponential moving average. Since it's sloped to the upside, there's high probability of continuing to the upside, especially when we come back to retest it in these lower areas. We came into this value zone, had a small little drop just below the value zone, and now we've had a massive week going up over 20% in basically 1 week and pushing above the 2023 all-time high. Now looking at the 4-hourly time frame for Bitcoin, you can see we had this massive run up which we just saw on this weekly time frame, but we've basically been going sideways in this area where people were buying low and people were selling high in this area. Every time we came to the top end of these channels and potentially looking to do it now, people are at least looking to get out a small portion of their position. And when we come into this low area, people are definitely buying, basically looking to buy in the bottom 25% and then sell in the top 25% of the channel. But overall, we've had this positive sloping EMA. It would make sense that if we do have this sideways action, it would then continue to the upside, as a lot of people would try and actually get short in this area, but they are going to get trapped because the long-term trend is pointing to the upside. This is not financial advice, but this is definitely my own personal strategy that I'm using in the market. Now let's look at Ethereum on the daily time frame. We can see this MACD histogram has been pushing to the positive side of the slope, but back here in 2021 in April, this was the 2023 high, and Bitcoin is already trying to exceed this high, whereas Ethereum is actually lagging a little bit behind. But this is not an obvious bearish case for Ethereum because we have made this push high. Now we're potentially coming into this value zone to look for more positive pushes to the upside. It's been a little bit down, a little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit up. So we're still having a little bit of that trading range price action. We're not just going to absolutely rock it just yet. We need to actually smooth out all of this and then continue moving to the upside. We really want to see this slope continuing to the upside, and we make pushes, come back, pushes, come back, pushes, come back, and then you would be able to say, yes, now is the time that Ethereum potentially could start to look for that big push to the upside that we've all been waiting for, that I've especially been waiting for, because the last few months have basically been a little bit sideways. All through this area, we've been slightly down, slightly up, slightly down, and we've had a sort of downward sloping exponential moving average, basically trading in this sideways slightly down trending channel. But the main point of Ethereum right here is actually when we connect all of these highs across, especially if we bring it actually across to here, let's actually connect it to here because it makes a little bit more sense. You can see that we are still above this actual trending channel to the sideways direction. And if you actually bring it to this exact high right in here, you can see we literally just the other day came down, retested it perfectly, potentially now looking for that long side. If we were to break below this area down here, then this would then be invalidated and people would be looking for shorts. But since we're holding above this trend line, a lot of people are actually entering as soon as we broke above here, and they're using their stop anywhere below this line to actually calculate, yes, this could be a good time to get out. But we're actually now supporting off that line, potentially making bullish pushes to the upside. Having a look at Binance Coin right now, you can see Binance Coin in the last 2 days actually made it even lower. On my particular trade, as I've been talking about, actually made 9% down in this area. But you can see we actually pushed another 4%. So I potentially could have gone for that 4-to-1 risk to reward on this particular trade. The reason I entered this trade is because we have this negatively slope on the exponential moving average, telling me that there's high probability of continuing down. I then got short right as we touched the average price, as we have the short term and the medium term average price. Once we came back to the average price, I looked to get short. I put my stop 3% up and I look for a target area around 9% down. So making that 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio on a trade that roughly has 50 to 60% probability, like most trades do, but absolutely fantastic. Could have squeaked out one extra risk to reward, but I literally got out in 2 days. I entered the trade and within 2 days I was out for 9% profit, so really cannot complain now. So potentially making a little bit of a double bottom in this area for Binance Coin, since the slope is starting to actually fade out and actually slowly come to a basically flat line. then in this area, we could have that double top. But really what we'd want to see is we'd want to get this exponential moving average here. We'd want to get a close above the exponential moving average. We want to get multiple closes above the exponential moving average. Then that would signal to me that we're not just using it as a resistance to the downside. Potentially that trend has been broken. Let's actually move over to a coin very similar to what I've just talked about. So you can see in Dogecoin done very similar to what Binance Coin has done. All through this area, we've had that negatively sloping EMA, but right here, we've actually broken above the EMA. Whereas when we go back to Binance Coin, you can see it use it as a resistance level. Whereas on Dogecoin right here, potentially actually going to be using it as a support level pretty soon, because once we get this break here, it's showing that this resistance level that's held here, held here, held here, held here, held here, is potentially starting to break, because a resistance level is not going to hold forever. Eventually it's going to get broken. Bulls are going to come in. Eventually that resistance is going to get broken. Bears are going to come in. So it's just basically a back and forth game. But since we've actually seen that we've got this break above, potentially making this double bottom. Like I said, I was actually expecting a sweep into these lows. A lot of people were actually looking to get long onto Dogecoin right in this area here once we had this little bit of a downtrot, but I didn't think that was smart, because I thought this area right through here would make a lot of sense to actually come back and retest, and that's exactly what we did. Now looking for that bullish push to the upside. Really what I want to see is a break above this high through here, because then what would that allow is the 20 exponential moving average to begin trending to the upside. We get a break above, we then use that EMA as support and then make another push. Then that would confirm to me that as soon as we break this high, that yes, we're beginning to push into that bullish market, and then this is not going to act as resistance, potentially will be acting as support as we push to the upside. Let's actually move over to Litecoin. Right here on Litecoin, actually had a massive push to the upside today, already up 11%. So if we scroll out and even look at the April high, which we've been looking at on a lot of other coins, we're nearly at this old all-time high for 2023. We actually made a high in February, like not a lot of coins did. If we flip back to Bitcoin, you can see back in February here, this was not the 2023 high, but when we actually do look at Litecoin in this area, this was actually happening back in the February zone. But basically all the way to this top, if you actually scroll out and look at the price action on Litecoin, you can basically see that people have been selling high and people have been buying low. So a lot of the time, even though this is maybe slightly actually trending upwards rather than a directly sideways channel, this is probably slightly sloping up, and this is even just maybe slightly sloping down, but actually making sense to actually keep it sideways. So you can see a lot of people in this area, in this bottom 25% of the area, people are looking to buy. Every time we come into this area, people are buying. Every time we come into the top 25% of this top end, people are selling in this area, selling in this area. And we've had a massive push, over 11% today, coming straight back into that potential sell zone that a lot of people are actually looking to get out of their positions. But you just need to be looking to the left and seeing what's playing. Personally, I wouldn't expect a massive breakout up to this 110 level. I would be playing it like a trending channel, because we see this channel moving to the sideways direction. I'd be selling into this area. I'd be looking to buy back in this area. Then I'd look to get long in this area and just look to the left. If that's what we've been doing, looking to the left, then we need to expect that that's actually going to continue in the future, and we're not going to get that massive breakout just yet. Even if we look ETC having another massive day, so Ethereum Classic, but again, when you bring these trending channels across like this and you look in these areas, potentially coming to the top end of this channel. So again, you just need to be wary, because a lot of people will be looking to either exit their positions or look to enter into the short direction. Even Solana had a really massive day yesterday, was up over 12.5%, and today up another 4% so far. But again, still having this trending downwards direction in the trading range, where basically 95% of the price is right between these two lines from 2023, and you can see a lot of people in the bottom 25% looking to sell, and the top 25% buy in the bottom 25% and sell in the top 25%. So again, we just need to really get that confirmation, and we need to see this trending market to the upside. Even if we flick over to Solana, maybe on the weekly time frame, you can see if we quickly flip over to Bitcoin on the weekly time frame, all through 2023, we've had this positive slope to the upside. But when we actually click over to Solana, you can see that still on this weekly time frame, we've got this downward sloping EMA. So it tells us right now that I really cannot be looking for longs, as I can only be trading in the direction of the slope of the EMA. It's really as simple as that. Then using the right risk to reward. So right here, particularly as much as Solana is moving up, we still have that really downwards trending exponential moving average. So it's just not giving me that positive signal that I want to see. Now over to some crypto news. Financial giants who filed for a spot Bitcoin ETF. We've got BlackRock, and as soon as BlackRock went through, all these other ones are following. We just have Fidelity, Van Eck, ARK Invest or 21 shares, WisdomTree, Valkyrie. We've seen Bitwise, we've seen Investco, we've seen so many institutional adoption players actually coming in and moving right as soon as BlackRock, one of the biggest, or if not the biggest investment firm, actually filing for a spot Bitcoin ETF. And the main thing that you need to understand is a spot Bitcoin ETF actually means that when you go and purchase this in the market, then these companies, because it's spot, they need to own the amount of Bitcoin that you are purchasing. So they need to then go into the real market, go into the Bitcoin market, and actually buy the Bitcoin that you've been purchasing. It's not just an exchange traded fund where they look at the price of Bitcoin and it follows along depending on the investments going through. This is directly as you buying Bitcoin into this ETF, they have to buy Bitcoin. And it's also, if you understand, it's a supply and demand. When there's more demand and there's a fixed supply, then all of a sudden the price is going to increase. It's literally basic economics. Next is Brussels to require EU banks to disclose exposure to crypto assets. This is potentially majorly bullish, as potentially a lot of these EU banks have been buying crypto, but they've never need to disclose their exposure. And right now, once they actually disclose that, we could see that they really do have a lot of crypto assets on their balance sheet, which is bullish because a lot of the time they've been hush. And if they have to finally actually disclose that, then you'll find out, maybe these big banks do know what they're doing and we should get the exposure that they're doing as well. So into the next news, MasterCard has introduced its multi-token network, MTN, a blockchain-powered app store for regulated financial applications. So absolutely massive. MasterCard basically being the biggest player in debit cards, credit cards. So really good news. The US state of North Carolina has advanced a bill to study holding cryptocurrencies, particularly Bitcoin, in the state treasury. So right now, what's potentially going to be happening is a lot of these US states are looking to actually buy into Bitcoin and hold a portion of their funds into these cryptocurrencies. Again, going back to that supply and demand, if the supply is fixed and the demand starts to increase, then that's what we're going to see. We're going to see a big price increase. So also UK passes a bill into law recognizing Bitcoin and crypto as regulated financial activities. So absolutely fantastic. Before they were trying to get it through as basically a gambling act, and on that, you then basically would have had no taxes paid because people in Britain don't pay any taxes on gambling. But now they're actually finally recognizing Bitcoin and crypto as a regulated financial activity. It's definitely going to be the next sector in the actual trading, especially when we're looking at stock market trading and you've got minerals and you've got mining and all these different aspects. You've got technology. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is definitely going to be next on that list. The last thing that I really want to finish off on this video is absolutely fantastic. The power of tiny gains. 1% better every day. If you do that exponential equation, you actually find that at the end of the year, you're 37 times better off. But if you're 1% worse every day, you're basically 3% of the man you were at the start of the year. And it shows this improvement or a decline over this actual time period. So basically you can see you can get 37 times better at something if you just put 1% better every single day compared to that 1% worse every single day. So you really want to be putting everything into your life and you don't just want to be letting it pass you by. If you haven't already, leave a like on the video, make sure you're subscribed, and if you want, leave a comment and tell me which cryptocurrencies you would like me to go over in these type of videos. Hope you've enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.